Epilepsy Queensland has recently formed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with the University of Queensland in an effort to further research into epilepsy. It is really important to us to build capacity, not only in Queensland but across Australia, in clinicians and in researchers, and just encouraging more people to look into cures and causes and anything that we possibly can to improve outcomes both in treatment and in determining causes. And as a team member of Epilepsy Queensland, I really wanted to put my hand up to get involved. I also have a son with epilepsy, so anything that I could do to contribute to better outcomes for him and other families like us was something that was important to me. Research is one way that we can bring hope to people that are living with the condition. And so for me, getting involved in research today is just one little way that I can continue to keep that hope alive.
Epilepsy is really common. I think people don't realise how common it is, and there's a real opportunity for us to offer people a much improved quality of care. Certain types of epilepsy and epilepsy affecting different regions of the brain can cause problems with people's ability to speak or remember different words, find the right words, or even things with reading. So part of the work that we're doing is to try and do better testing around that, more targeted testing, so we can say to these patients with a greater degree of confidence, yes, there is a problem, and yes, we know where it's coming from, and either these are the things we're going to do about it, these are the implications for your surgery, and what's going to be the pathway forward.
We've got a group of people who don't have epilepsy, and we're going to have a group of people who do have epilepsy, and we're going to be comparing the activations in their brains across the different tasks and looking at similarities and differences.
So we're really hoping, to directly improve that clinical testing that patients have before surgery. So from the results, we're hoping to see which tasks are best to use when we're doing that scanning. So we're trying different language tasks and seeing which are best.
The improved quality of the scan and the improved testing that we're using will give us a greater ability to determine which parts of patients' brains are active when they're doing different language tasks, and again that'll allow us to predict if we're offering epilepsy surgery in language areas, what might be the risks of that, and can they expect to have language problems after surgery.
So I just finished completing the pre-screening questions. They were fairly easy, and it was just giving me a really good insight into what to expect once I go into the scanner. So I'm about to do that now. I believe it's going to take around 1 hour. I'm feeling really fine about it. I have had an MRI before, so I'm not too nervous. Obviously staying still for an hour can be challenging. I'll be asked some questions and I'll have to do some writing, so there'll be a little bit of moving and talking, but other than that I will have to stay still for about an hour. But I'm hoping that the results are really worthwhile and that it's something that I can contribute. So that was about 1 hour in there. I was asked questions about rhyming words, about numbers, had to do some maths, choosing between different options. So it was quite tiring to concentrate for nearly 1 hour. Probably the easiest part was just the clinical brain scan, where I got to close my eyes for a little while. But it was just responding to stimuli. So I am quite tired now, but yeah, on the whole, look, it was fairly easy. I think you do need to be able to just relax, but yeah, it was a great experience.
So Mel is actually our last healthy volunteer, so our last person without epilepsy, and Aoife is going to be starting scanning people and recruiting people with epilepsy to do exactly the same as Mel's done, but obviously they've got epilepsy, so we'll be able to make that comparison between people with and without.
So we've actually had a really great response so far. So we now actually have enough volunteers without epilepsy, which is great news. But soon we'll be recruiting people with epilepsy. So we'll be looking for people with epilepsy to volunteer as well.
If getting involved in research is something that you've thought about, I would encourage you to look into it further. It's usually a really easy process. You can head to the Epilepsy Queensland website or sign up for our e-newsletter. We always feature opportunities that are available, whether that's clinical trials or research happening here in Brisbane. Sometimes it's as simple as filling in a survey. Other times you may come into a facility like we have done today. But it's really simple. Whether you are a person that lives with epilepsy, you care for a person with epilepsy, or you're a parent or a friend or a family member, generally speaking, there is some way that you can get involved. It really does make a difference, and everybody's input is always welcome. So I wanted to say a big thank you to all of the researchers and clinicians who are so dedicated to researching epilepsy, and just to thank the University of Queensland Centre for Clinical Research for having us here today and allowing us to be a part of this project. We really cannot wait to see the outcomes and to read about the benefits that studies like this and others bring.